Yo, how's it going, Mathmech Players? Welcome back to another Mathmech and Code Talker video. So I have to say, firstly, I'm sorry I've been away for a few days. I like to upload every 2 to 3 days, and I know it may not seem like a big deal, but to me, I just want to keep that consistency. But the reason I've been away for so long is because, well, to put it short and simple, work has just been kicking my butt lately. So I just needed like a good 2 minutes to myself, just to chill with my family and my girlfriend, and just sort of, yeah, just take some time for myself. But look, I'm back now, and I planned the time off so that I would be back in time for the firewall support, because that coming out on the 9th, which is what, 2 days from now. Yeah, I want to be there for that because there's a lot of content that I want to share with you guys. Now, I've already made a Future of Mathmech video, so if you haven't already, go check that out. But the reason why I think that video is so important is because just by coincidence and pure luck, like that video came out a day before DK's announcement for the Singularity package. So, and I don't have those connections like him, so it was complete luck that it's come out the day before. So quite happy with that, to be honest. So feels like we can get a little bit of insight. And yeah, I wasn't expecting the support to come out for at least 2 months, because Rescue Ace and Unchained are two archetypes that are expected to get some support in the near future. So those are really strong decks, by the way. We'll have to tailor a lot of how we play against those decks because a lot of destruction. So anyway, the reason I want to make this video is because I just want to show you guys how I'm getting on with rank, to be honest. So I've, yeah, as you saw, I made Master 5. I did that this morning. I've been playing, I'd say, roughly 5 to 10 games a day, closer to 5, to be honest. Like I said before, I don't really have the time. But look, we're doing pretty well. I'm on a 2-win streak. 4-win streak. 2-win streak, I guess, because it's a new tier. But yeah, as you can see for the games, I've been doing semi-well. I don't know if it's me, like maybe tell me in the comments, but I've literally only been playing Labrynth. Like, maybe not literally, okay, that's a bit exaggerated, but I've been playing Labrynth a lot lately. So I'm thinking about opting in a second Red Reboot and maybe getting rid of the Impermanence. Because I'll be very real with you guys. The only reason I play Impermanence is so that Crossout Designator has something to negate for. Like, it's a great card, but I just find it doesn't have enough impact against some decks. Like, it only really works in the mirror match. I've noticed that you can stop a Mathmech play with just 1 Ash and 1 Imperm, and that's it. That's just completely done. So yeah, but look, that's that for you. So before I get into the replays, I actually just wanted to show you one last replay from the DLV Cup, because I completely forgot I had this, and I thought there was a good learning point in here. So you'll notice I have Sign It Backdoor, but I don't actually play that anymore. I'll show you the deck list at the very end, and we can kind of go through why I chose certain cards. Again, I've got some very questionable choices, but if you don't already know how I play already, that's kind of how I do things. So anyway, look, we're going to skip the whole combo, because if you don't already know by now, wait, this is the standard Mathmech package. So we're going to go into the transcode co-linked with Heat Soul line, and then we'll look, it's great that we've got Impermanence, and oh, I've kind of skipped over all of it. So this is against Numeron. I didn't know he was playing Numeron at this point, and I didn't know he was playing Numeron for a long time, but because I got Lava Golem, as you see now, it was very clear he was playing a go in the second deck, and that deck lockdown being such a great floodgate was definitely stopping something. So as we can see here, we've got my turn back now. Now, the mistake I make here, and I want to highlight this so clearly, is that I thought I was being really clever here to just shoot for game now in case he has, you know, Nibiru, because I don't want all my stuff tributed. That would be really shit. What I should have done is made a Code Talker monster, no matter how, you know, big it is, because I don't understand why, but you'll see right now. So Numeron Wall, as you can see, it ends the battle phase, but my Lablation was not able to negate it. So this is very clear. It's not an activated effect. It's just something that can resolve on its own, which I find kind of crazy and really hard to explain. But in the game, I was just kind of lost as to why I was not able to negate it. So either way, look, he decides to use Numeron's other effect and actually activate the spell card. And I don't know why he did that. He should have done that in the end phase, but it is what it is now. Like, in hindsight, you can't really do much anymore. So my only game plan was to, yeah, make access code, delete this, and then we're good. And then it was an easy game from there, because now I have Silent Conflict and it's still live. I can save it, but just learn from me. Just, you know, do the correct thing each time. Like, I wasn't just make one Code Talker monster, that way you don't have to, you know, fall into it. And then yeah, my opponent doesn't read any cards, so these two are untargetable. And then yeah, Silent Conflict pretty much wins me this one. And then I'll let it kind of run out so you see him leave, and then yeah, that's it. But yeah, look, I'm going to jump straight into the ranked gameplay, because that's what you're here for. So I'll see you in a sec. Okay, let's jump straight into the first replay then. So this is actually against Dragonlink, but because of the cards in my hand, I don't even let my opponent draw into or create a board strong enough to consider it Dragonlink. It's just Bestials. So he uses the first Bestial on Sakitama. So from this point, I should have known that he has another Bestial in hand, but at this point, you kind of just have to play through it. You don't really have a choice because you're not just going to end with a crap board just for the sake of it. So I, go into the standard Alan Bershon line, get Circular, and then send Nabla because you want to bring back Nabla so that way it contribute itself to get Diameter. But yeah, now he has Boldrake. Now I have to say Boldrake is the worst Bestial for us to come against because it basically just locks us out of the extra deck because if they time it well, they can banish anything we summon from the extra deck. Obviously just one monster, but they time it right, they get rid of the right one, and the play dies really. So I'm kind of stuck here. But because of Maxi, and I know I hate this card, but it did really save me in this very particular scenario, I draw into Lady Debug. So I'm not locked into Cyberse here. So what I want to do is just grab Code Generator for the following turn, and then just go straight into Baguska. Now, I have decided to main deck this card because of this particular reason. So, yep, perfect. So he cannot do anything against this card. He has to bring out Link monsters, and I'm pretty sure he doesn't have enough cards to actually keep doing that. So in this particular case, I was happy to leave Transcode by itself. Usually I would be completely against this because it is a really weak body. Like 2300 is not anything, but all his monsters have to be in defense position, and it's going to take a lot of materials for him to get into the Link monsters that he actually wants. So he just summons this, goes straight into Heretic Seal. This card is actually pretty amazing, I'm not going to lie, because it's a non-target bounce. If I was him, I would have used it on Baguska immediately. Then he can just go into the rest of his plays, but I'm guessing he either knew this was going to be Silent Conflict or he thought it was Call by the Grave. So either way, he left it alone. And then for the next turn, I used Transcode's effect just to bait out basically whatever this card is. I thought it was Imperm, but it turned out to be Call by the Grave, as you see. And I'm so glad I did because, well, the whole plan I had here was to go into Access Code, send Multiplication, make him a double big body again, and then just shoot for game whether he uses this or not because I have Silent Conflict. And had I just, not used the bait, then, yeah, he would have just completely shit on me. Well, I mean, I would have survived the round, but I would have had a dead Access Code, like 5300 and, well, not dead. Okay, I'm exaggerating, but it would have been less impactful. We wouldn't have had the one shot for game. Now, one thing I just want to point out here is that with Heretic of the Seal, because it activates from the field but resolves in the graveyard, there's a certain transition timing that we miss. So we can negate it, but we cannot banish it. And the extra bonus of Silent Conflict is that if we banish the card that we negate, they cannot use the effects of that card until the end of next turn. So because we don't banish it, because of that, certain timing transition. Now, I don't know if that's design, but it's in the game and I learn it here. And he can use the second effect. So you just have to be very, careful of that in future. Just be very careful that other cards might, fall within that little crack that, they don't actually have that banishment. So, but look, easy here. Look, 10,600, very clean game. And look at this board. Like, it's such a floodgate. All monsters on the board negated. Can't add a card from, your main deck. Can't special summon from the main deck. So, yeah, like, he can't do anything. And then Silent Conflicts, like, on top. Like, insane. Like, yeah. So, very pleased with this game. But I'm going to jump straight into the second game now. Game number 2. So, this is against Labrynth. Because, as I said before, I've just been playing against Labrynth a lot lately. Now, he maxes me, so I'm not going to play into it. Usually, I just would scoop. But I figured, well, it's a rank climb, so I'm never really going to scoop. I just have to suffer. So I just put deck lockdown on the field, bring myself Diameter, so the next turn at least I can either create a negate or just have extra bodies on the board. Up to me there. And then, yeah, we just go for, this. So, yeah, that has to go to the graveyard, but he just leaves because this is Dynamorphia Labrynth, and the one that he sent to the graveyard doesn't require from the main deck, but because it gets sent to the graveyard because of this new card that they have. Where's it gone? This one. By the way, this card is very good support for trap decks, so you will be seeing this a lot more. Essentially, at the end phase, they can excavate cards from the top of their deck up to the number of unused monster zones. So unless you're a trap deck yourself, then, it's going to be quite a few cards, maybe like 3 to 4 consistently. And then they can just set a normal trap from their deck. So this is going to be quite insane support actually for them. So be ready to see more of that. But yeah, that is the second replay. I'm just going to jump straight into the third. Game number 3. So I think this is against Labrynth again. A lot of them against Labrynth. I tried to handpick the ones that weren't, so that way we had a little bit of diversity. But unfortunately, you get what you get. So, and I think does he max see me here? No. Okay, so we're just playing into it. I think this is pretty much just standard combo. And yeah, he imperms this transcode. So I just thought the best thing to do is to go into access code because transcode by itself is a really small body. really easily outable. And because as soon as I saw these, I was really happy because I've been meaning to get some like gameplay against Labrynth where they try to play through deck lockdown. A lot of them understand they can't, but there is a little scenario where they can actually play through it. So if you notice here, they can summon from their hand, deck, or graveyard. Now we lock off the deck, okay? But if they have Lady, Labrynth, or Lovely in their hand or graveyard, by either, if they have it in their hand or graveyard, they can still summon it. So you have to be very careful of that. I've lost a few games because of this. I myself don't read cards sometimes, so I just suffer under that, and then you learn from me. But yeah, really glad this card got hit to 1. This is basically Pot of Greed for Labrynth, crazy. And yeah, this is a very clean win actually, because we summon that Ablation and we're able to get rid of the card in hand. One of these, I was always going to go for this one because it was put down first, so good rule of thumb. And then it was going to get rid of, is this Lady or Lovely? Lady Labrynth, I think. Yeah, Lady. Because it's, this is non-targeting and it's not destruction. And of course we have Diameter's Negate, so we stop Daruma, which usually would be insane against us because access code would go to the graveyard. And then we just, we have all 3 gone, but he leaves. So good. So yeah, game number 2 done, and game on to game number 3. Oh, no, sorry, game number 4. Okay, so for game number 4, I'm actually not sure who we play against here. I mean, we'll see in a set. It's probably Labrynth, but can never be too sure. Okay, so this is the game I get max seed. I thought it was the last game. So yeah, I'm not going to play into it. Like no Mathmech player should. I think it's just unless you're going second, then you're trying to play for game. But yeah, don't try and do it this way. So yeah, just deck lockdown. I didn't know what he was playing at this point, so I have no choice but to play on this. And yeah, it's a Labrynth again. So can't add a card from deck to hand from Ariana. Can't summon from the deck, so it's very clear he doesn't have Lady or Lovely from hand. And then, but this was a good move on his part because a lot of players might not have played into it. But yeah, getting rid of that, and then we're quite fortunate to have Parallel Exceed. But because of deck lockdown, I can't summon the second one, so I kind of shoot myself in the foot in that case. But my next best option is to go into access code and just clear the board and hit him for 5,300. And then the next turn, summon Multiplication, go into Armorage because I've used Lingarebo, and then double access code for the game. But he can't do anything, like he can't summon anything from the main deck, so he really is just stuck with nothing. Like, and that was Impermanence, which would have been huge against us, by the way. So, and then I just put, like, I only have 1 Mathmech body in the graveyard, but in case you can get those bodies in, it's good to just set it down now. Yep, now he uses Labrynth. But he doesn't realize that. So this is what I mean by he's trying to play into it. He thought that he could, he thought he could summon from the main deck, and this is why there was like a long pause. And yeah, he realized he couldn't because he looked at the options of what he can summon. He's like, yeah, this is it. So he just left. But yeah, look, that's game number 4. Let's jump straight into game number 5. Okay, so for game number 5, I have to say a lot of these games are going by really quickly because, well, this is just how Master Duel is really. If you both break or one of you breaks. Oh yeah, okay, so this is what I was saying before by 1 Ash and 1 Imperm can just stop Mathmech. So this is a mirror match here. I'm actually quite glad I got this game in because you can see how, look, we both bricked. Like, I've got nothing, he's got nothing. Like, what can we do? I know he has nothing because he's decided to put Impermanence on. Don't know what this is. I'm pretty sure it was a bluff in the end. But yeah, I can only set Silent Conflict, hit with Sakitama, and then I thought about keeping the Ash, but I thought, you know what, I may as well just make the Silent Conflict activatable. And he might have guessed what it was at this point, being a Mathmech player himself, but I really had no choice. And he bricked. He bricked. So I would say he bricked harder than me because, yeah, look at my board and look, well, can't see what he has, but the fact that he had to end the turn, yeah, he must have not drawn into any monsters. So, yes, peak. It is what it is. So yeah, my turn again. I now have something to use on Silent Mining, and I was pretty sure he was going to have Ash. Like, anyone who plays against me has Ash. Like, I've just noticed. But yeah, I got caught by the grave. Fantastic. In a good spot. Has not revealed what these are yet. And now I go into Lady Debug, and the reason I do this is because I want to create a big access code. I want to make sure that he's undeniably, like, yeah, he's going to be massive basically. And yeah, had I gone into, let's say, yeah, had I just added code generator to hand, it would have been harder to go into access code. In fact, I don't even think I could have gone into access code at that point. If I go back really quickly, if I had added, yeah, actually that's very true. I could have maybe normal summoned it and then done the transcode, bring back, but it just would have been long-winded. So it was better to go into Lady Debug, add code generator, have these two go into transcode, and then use transcode and code generator to go into access code and send multiplication for the double body damage. So he's a big body now. And now, again, remember, multiplication is not protected by access code. So we are unfortunately very vulnerable to stuff like this. So, yep, precisely. So Call by the Grave. Now, if you don't know me already, I only play one Call by the Grave. So cross out Designator, because I already used the only Call by the Grave I have in my deck, was going to be useless. So I thought, you know what, I'll save this for Imperm. I'll use Signet Conflict now. And then it guarantees that my access code is now a 10,600 body. And the reason why I love this gameplay is because, look, Imperm cannot even stop him. And he just leaves. I don't think he knew, but he knows now that if you try and Imperm access code after he's gained the double attack, doesn't do anything. Like, he keeps that attack. He remains a double big body. And yeah, we just had everything for game there. So it was very clear that that card was a bluff as well. So, but yeah, we're going to go into the final replay, and then we'll just give a brief conclusion. Okay, so game number 6 and the final replay. Pretty sure this is Labrynth. And, oh, this is a beautiful... Okay, actually, no. I remember this. This is against Purely, but I just wanted to showcase how you should play with Signet Codec, because, look, I've done a tutorial video on this before, but you need to know that essentially... Oh, wait. Yeah, so he ashes me here. Look, I told you, everyone has ash against me. Everyone. And I never get it for myself in case they max see me. Like, it's insane. So, look, I go into Sigma here. So he has Imperm in hand. Imperm or Effect Veiler. Like, I know by the pauses, and you should know as well, because it's the only way you're going to be able to actually be smart enough to make a play like this. So I knew that he had it. So I thought, you know what, instead of just going into Alan Bershin, having my card inevitably negated, and then just stuck with Alan Bershin with, you know, these crap cards on board, I thought, you know what, I'm going to go into Signet Codec and just keep summoning more and more monsters, because it doesn't matter what the effects of the monsters do at this point. I can just keep getting more and more bodies on board, and then just more in my hand. And so I've secured the Signet Conflict play. I've only got Mathmech Circular in the graveyard, sorry, because Sigma has been lost to the banished pile. But it doesn't matter. Like, I can keep doing it. Like, he doesn't know what to negate at this point, because look, he lets me do this, and it really doesn't matter at this point. Now, he could have Nibiru, but as you'll see in a second, I use Code Generator to send... Oh no, Ibli's already in the graveyard. Sorry, what am I talking about? I use Dotscaper, yeah. So I like Ibli because Ibli just protects you from Nibiru, and look, he knows I can get the rest of my bodies. Like, I haven't even used my normal summon yet, so I could go Diameter, bring back Mathmech Circular, use the 2 to go into Alan Bershin, get another Mathmech card out, because I've already got the 2 main ones. I just need a third random one to go in the graveyard. And then I can still go into my Terahertz and Heat Soul line. Like, it's... Yeah, like, Signet Codec is a must-have in the Mathmech deck. Like, it's just insane. But yeah, look, that is the final game, and I'll jump straight into the conclusion right now. Yo, so I'll be honest, guys, there isn't really much of a conclusion to give, so I think I'll just wrap up the video with just a quick look at the deck that I'm working with at the minute. So it looks very cluttered, very messy, but I'll just kind of go through some of the cards as is. So number 1 is Ibli. Now, I'm not going to lie, this monster has been really good for me this season. So there's 3 reasons I like it. Now, the main thing you want to kind of know from this is that if this card is face up on your side of the field, you cannot special summon monsters except link monsters. So the idea is that we use it as link material, and then by its second effect, it will summon itself to your opponent's side of the field. So now they are forced to play underneath this condition. So it stops Nibiru, because Nibiru is not a link monster. So you can summon as many times as you want. It's really good for that. It also stops Impermanence, because Impermanence cannot activate from the hand if you control a card. Hence, Ibli being on the field, it stops that completely. So it's very good protection in those regards. So I do really like that. I do really like this card for those 2 reasons. But the third reason that I like it the most, if I'm being honest, is because it just slows down your opponent's plays. This card is quite easy to get rid of, but it requires certain cards to get rid of. Now, if it's the mirror match, then yeah, they'll just use this as material for Lingaribo, not Linkaribo. And I have had that happen to me, and I did lose that game because, well, I just had a shit end board. They just ashed me, and, well, you know Mathmech, it bricks really easily. So that 1 ash did enough to stop me. So yeah, in the mirror match, not so great, but against most decks, this card is actually pretty good for slowing down their plays. And in the very rare case scenario where they do not get a single monster in hand, and I've had it against Purely, but it was a very boring game, so I didn't want to show it in some of the replays. But essentially, I knew my opponent had no monsters in hand, because if he did, they would have just summoned the monster and went into either Masquerena or the Sky Striker Azalea. So, but that Sky Striker needs 2 light or 2 dark monsters, you know, 1 of each even. So even if it was Maxi and, you know, Ash Blossom in hand, or even Droll, can't even do anything. So yeah, he was stuck. So, unless he had Masquerena, of course. But either way, he just didn't summon anything. We waited for a good minute or 2, And then, yeah, he just left. So I knew that he only had like spells and traps in his hand and he couldn't summon anything because of the effect of Ibli. So that's the main reason I play this. That first effect here is it's pretty arse, I'm not going to lie. I tried it in the solo mode and it does work, but you will never find yourself in a scenario where this card's first effect is like very useful. I'm going to be very, very clear with that, because look at the link arrows of all our monsters. Like the only thing that can really help us like access and then maybe code, but I can't see you going into this and then having not already committed your normal, it just doesn't make any sense. Yeah, I just, yeah, I don't really understand it. But anyway, that's Nightmare Ibli. I think it's a great card, but I'm not sure if it will stay in the long run. But for now, doing me so well. Now, Sakitama, as I was touching on earlier, I'm not going to lie, I'm really disappointed that this card is a UR. It doesn't deserve to be a UR. I think it's way too expensive, and from the TCG, I think like Konami, the game, I think Konami know what they're doing with like these type of cards. A lot of the Firewall stuff I'm predicting is going to be ultra rare as well, just because, well, Singularity for sure, that's a Link 6, it's going to be, yeah, that's definitely going to be UR. D-Save Worm, pretty likely. Link Decoder, I'm hoping it's just an SR, but I don't know, I've been wrong. I thought this was going to be an SR or even a rare, but I think the only thing you can say about this card is that the versatility to go into other decks like Exosister as well, this card can provide that type of value just because it normal summons itself, and they depend on level 4 monsters as well. But I have to say, I was extremely disappointed that this was just a UR. It's kind of annoying. It hurt to buy it, I'm not going to lie, because it's expensive. Like, it doesn't really need to be that expensive. It's such a deterrent in the game as well for new players to want to like build good decks. So yeah, I think yeah, I just think that was a real shame. But it is really good, I won't lie to you. It's done really, really well for me, because I've opened up with Diameter and I've opened up with Lady Debug with this in hand as well, and then both just summon themselves, and I can go into a negate built-in Alan Bershin, or I can get my microcoder and then go into Alan Bershin. So I have both plays kind of lined up, and sometimes I like to do both of these first and then go into my Mathmech Circular, because I like to bait out the negates on Alan Bershin, because ideally, well, not ideally, but your opponent is going to look at it and think, oh, this is his only play, this is all he can do. But then you just whip out the rest of it and you're like, yeah, I'm all good, I'm Gucci. So yeah, I'm very happy with this card at the minute. I am playing 2 Parallel Exceed, because I'm not playing Small World. I don't really see much of a issue having 2. If I do open with both of them, it does suck, but it is what it is, and soon to come, Firewall Defensive stuff is going to be entering the deck anyway, so I'm really looking forward to that. I'm still playing this for, yeah, unneeded to be explained reasons, so not going to go into that. But Signet Codec, I already did a tutorial video. If you haven't already checked it out, I think you should. It's going to teach you how to play going first with this card and going second. And even in one of my replays in this video, you already saw how I knew my opponent was going to negate an Alan Bershin if I brought it on. So we just played completely around it, and he left because I got all my resources. He had an Imperm or an Effect Vader in hand, something in hand, and couldn't do anything. And then I was about to summon Ibli to his side as well, so he would have been put in a really, really bad spot. So yeah, for me, I think this is a very, I'd say it's a must card at the minute. Until the Firewall stuff comes out, you need something that's going to give you like endless combos, just endless resources. Like, it's just so good. So yeah, definitely go check out the video if you haven't, because I just think it's a very good learning point from there. So that's Signet Codec. And then I guess the last card is Baguska. So now that I've got Sakitama, I'm not always locked into my Cyburst play, sorry, because as soon as you special summon Sigma, I think as well as these, yeah, as well as subtraction and addition, you're stuck into your Cyburst plays, and these are all special summon monsters, so it's kind of annoying. But having stuff like Sakitama, and you saw the match I had against Dragon Link where I was very lucky and I got, you know, Circular and Lady Debug, and I just went into Baguska, and I won the game primarily for that card. To be honest, like Maxi played a part, Silent Conflict played a part, and even Deck Lockdown played a part. But I have to say, Baguska is what saved me, because it just got rid of a lot of card resources. It made the board a lot easier to deal with. So I was very pleased with having this in my deck, and I'm going to keep it there for the future. But there isn't much more to be said. I'm going to wait and kind of save some of the content for the Firewall stuff. I do have a tutorial of Labrynth, how to play against Labrynth, coming out, as well as Kashtira. They're already done. I'm just going to kind of design my, you know, scheduled release date, just that way it kind of lines with the Firewall stuff well. But look, if you got this far, thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate your time. And I should have said this at the beginning, but I hope everyone's having a great season so far. If you're not, just share down in the comments, explain what your problem is, and we can try and work it out together, because I want everyone to do well. I want all of us to hit Master. Why not? Because everyone can, there's no limit, and I want the Mathmech line to do really well. So anyway, without further ado, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.